You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, we have a show to host. Hey there, Beasties. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Alikona Bradford, joining you for another exciting episode of Beauty and the Beast. And joining me today are my lovely co-hosts.
Yes, hi, I am Paige Sullivan.
And hi, I'm Anik Dufour.
Yes, and we are here coming to you live to give you another exciting breakdown of episode 11 on Thin Ice.
Yes.
So, ladies, let's get into it right away. I want to start with Evan and JT. That's my topic for tonight. Well, one of my exciting topics, but I want to jump right away into that because Evan is already starting to get JT involved. He's got out this dead body, first of all. I love the one-liners. P.S. Before we even get into the conversation, I just want to thank Austin Basis and then also Jay Ryan for retweeting about our show, so definitely thank you so much. And sorry, back to conversation. ADD.
Hey. Yes, so JT and Evan, I know his name now, but JT and Evan are teaming up. And so this episode is when we kind of see them start to work together a bit. And I don't like it. You can tell how uncomfortable JT is the whole time.
Blatant that he's like, I'm surprised Evan hasn't caught on. He does a little bit, but I feel like he's still kind of, maybe he's playing dumb or he's just so into the dead body thing and I'm on the trail that he's not realizing how awkward
I personally
JT is.
think that he's maybe viewing him as, a scientist. Scientists can kind of be weird, kind of be socially awkward. Maybe JT just doesn't know how to be somebody's partner. Maybe it's just JT. Yeah. He doesn't know who JT is, so he doesn't know he's acting weird.
Right.
We know he's acting weird.
Right. I love the one-liners, though. He's like, oh, yeah, that's a dead body. Yeah, the opaque thing, I think he's dead. You know what I mean? Like, I love it.
JT's my favorite. I always say this. I love JT.
He is.
He's so funny. He's like the one funny thing every show.
He lightens up the conversation always.
Yeah, which is great, which is really great. And then
I love that he was on Kat's side. I'm jumping ahead, but I love at one point that he was like, I'm on Kat's side. Where did that come from? Yes, you are, because somebody needs to be at this point in time.
Yeah, because now it's almost like he's having the same fight he had the first time with Vincent. You want to put it all out there for a girl. You're going to put it all out there for Alex, but you're not willing to pay the price.
Right.
For putting it out there. With Kat, he kind of weighed his options and just went for it. Well, he didn't really. She kind of forced him to.
But how unfair is it for Kat to sit there and see how long it took her relationship with Vince to progress, and then here comes Alex, and all of a sudden, right away, it's like he's taking risks and he's doing all these things, and she's just watching like, really?
Because she's his past, and JT knows that, and that's why JT's on Kat's side, which I like.
Me too. Ani?
Do you think that JT is starting to like Kat now and kind of be like, I don't really like Alex and kind of want Vincent and
I don't
Kat
think
to
that
be
he
together?
necessarily doesn't like Alex. I don't think that he necessarily didn't like Alex. I mean,
Kat,
excuse me. It's just that Kat was a very risky person to get involved with because she's a part of the police force. And that's like he's supposed to be laying low. So,
and not only that, she kind of knew about him. She knew because of what happened with her mother. That was the one thing that she tried to get over for years and years and years. And now here he is putting himself into her life full time, basically.
Right.
I think that's why he was upset. Not because Vincent found love. Well, kind of because Vincent found love because he's not supposed to have love. He's supposed to be hiding. So, I don't know.
P.S. Another great one-liner. When he was saying, okay, you don't have a job, you basically live in a dark hole, and you're supposed to be dead, yet how did you get 2 hot chicks?
Yeah, he's like, you have 2 smoking hot chicks coming after you. He's like, I can't even get one.
He had a little girlfriend or somebody.
He
we
still
just didn't get to
does.
see that.
Sarah. We met her one time.
Yeah.
She's still around?
Yeah,
so.
yeah, she was around last episode. She was there. She was mentioned.
Yeah.
They met up.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know, whatever.
Anyways, but going back to Evan and all his discoveries and stuff, there's also this other blonde girl that shows up out of nowhere. Claire. And when she came out with a trench coat, I was like, ooh, she is naked under there. And then she takes it off, and this hideous curtain of a dress was, no offense, because she's a beautiful girl, but I was like, can you put the coat back on?
The wrap dress, it's not even the dress itself was, the shape was fine, it fit her great, whatever.
The print?
It looked like a messy, kind of camouflagey, but with like teals and greens and stuff. It was just not cute.
Yeah.
It just looked a lot older than what she should be wearing.
Right.
No, nobody should wear that. I don't think anybody should wear that.
Nobody
Don't
should
wear
wear
that, please. Please don't.
But, I kind of knew she was up to something.
How does she not? She came out of nowhere.
Well, yeah.
We've never met her before, and suddenly she's having sex with Evan on a morgue table.
Right. Which, to me, we're getting the thumbs up from our engineer right now.
So gross.
Our engineer's a man, if you couldn't figure that one out. But no offense, just kidding. Anyway, but I just felt like there wasn't really any chemistry there. It was a little bit forced on her end.
Yeah.
As far as...
Which what we find out it is.
Right, basically.
Forced.
Well, she's breaking into his files in a sense, and we find out she's from Muirfield. I knew they weren't going anywhere.
She tainted his samples.
Yeah.
So they exhumed the body, hoping to find another match. That way he can pursue this case.
Right.
And I was getting a glimmer of hope when he was saying, we can cure it.
Yes.
We can find it. But then, and JT's like, oh, you want to help it? You were going to help it, right?
Yeah, he was getting excited.
And I just wish JT would say, because he is a scientist, let's not punish this person. Let's find out what's wrong with this person and help it. Instead of, I know because Evan is coming from a morgue and a precinct in the law enforcement field, so that's his mindset. But JT could just stand there and say, I am a scientist. I am not going to work on this project. I'm not going to pursue this information, and I will not help you unless we do this for the sake of science and not for persecuting this person.
Right.
Well, I don't recall if it was from last episode or if it was just something that I read, but he had said something along the lines of, if you look at a person with cancer, you don't just sit there and give up on them or call them a creature or whatever the case may be. You try to help them. And in a sense, they are disformed on the inside. They are something different. Something is taking over them. And
well, it's just like anybody who, but there's all these cases, of children who don't know how to express their anger, so they take it out physically on people, and you don't say, oh, this child is a monster, this person, or an adult, somebody who maybe has autism and doesn't know how to express themselves can act out, but nobody condemns them. Nobody says, let's not help them. And that's the same thing with Vincent. And Vincent didn't ask for this. And Vincent this was something that was put on him.
Well, and he was volunteering for something that he thought was a good cause.
Yeah,
on top of that.
And somebody did this to him. So if anything, there's a crime. Muirfield should be persecuted for all the deaths that Vincent has killed people.
Completely. Agreed.
I mean, it sounds stupid to be promoting this murderer, but he's not a murderer, and it's, as Evan said, it's all for a good cause. I mean, he went after criminals.
Right.
People who were trying to kill other people.
Right. But I think that's where the twist for me came in, and maybe it went over my head as things were going along, but I thought maybe he was actually going to help. And then in the end, when he's like, well, I'm a cop, what do you expect? Of course I'm going to try to catch it.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
I think JT really needs to stand his ground and say, I'm not doing this unless we do it the right way.
Right. Yeah.
And now, but it's weird to me that Muirfield knew already that Evan was on his trail.
But maybe they were using Evan to trail his trail since he was getting so close, and then once he gets close enough, then take over from there and find him.
Because they must knew, like when he's searching it goes into the database, they know they have Vincent's DNA.
Right.
I guess that's why they pursued Evan, but now obviously they must feel like he's getting pretty close.
Right.
But they're not going to allow a manhunt.
Who's they?
Muirfield.
Oh,
I don't think they'll
I
allow
way too much attention to the case.
But if Evan got to that point, if they hadn't, tainted with the evidence, and he had Joe, and they did a manhunt, they would have found a way to nip that in the bud real quick. They would have had a superior person come in and shut it down.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely. But of course, Evan would have just went on anyways. Obviously, he's been stubborn and he's lied to people because he's so determined to figure out who this beast is. He would have kept going.
But he can't do anything. I think Vincent's too smart for it.
This is true.
I don't know.
You know, I also want to talk a little bit about Vincent's past and the fact that we see a little bit more of his role with Alex, and the fact that I feel like she's bringing his past alive. And he's always lived in this sort of fantasy world, and she's just bringing it to fruition, allowing him to go back into memories. And he goes to her house, and there's pictures of him and who he was and all that other good stuff. They're ice skating, and just for a moment, I feel like there was hesitation. And then I think something in his mind went, this is okay. And then for that moment, he let go.
It was comfortable for him.
Yeah, I think he just wants to get back to normal. You know, I mean, because he's
But
kind
how
of
do
like,
you go back to normal from that? Eventually, at some point in his life, something is going to happen and he's going to beast out. Obviously, that started to happen when they got arrested. Fortunately, he was able to control it, but who's to say in the future it's not going to happen? I don't know how that hasn't dawned on him a little bit. He was so concerned about with Kat. He wouldn't kiss Kat because he was afraid that emotionally it would cause something to stir up and then he would beast out. But with Alex, it just hasn't been a thought in his mind.
I know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. It's just, with Kat, there was all these precautions, and he didn't want to harm her or harm himself, and he was constantly careful. And with Alex, it's just carefree. He doesn't even care.
Right.
But it's weird to me because it's just so quick it shut off. His cares went away.
Right.
I don't know why he thinks he can just up and leave. It's not even the beasting thing. If he could always control it and never had Alex find out, but why he thinks it's okay for him to just run away.
I feel like at this point he's maybe a little bit on a high because he's experiencing some of these emotions again, and he almost maybe feels invincible.
Yeah, I think it's like he's delirious, like he's living in a fantasy world. I feel like it's when a girl finds that guy and everybody knows that guy's treating her badly, but she thinks it's the best thing in the world, and she ignores everybody. He's ignoring everybody.
Right.
And not listening to the people who have his best interests at heart, and not saying, this is hard for me because I am rooting for Kat in this, but it's hard not to hurt for Alex. I mean, she's loved this man her whole life.
Right, and she
never moved on.
I was to say, she's innocent. She has absolutely no idea. I don't know.
At the same time, you kind of want to just like go away and just have like Kat and Vincent be together. Just go.
Right.
I think it speaks to, you know, the ex in all of us. Like, if you've ever been the ex or you are the new girl, it's like, it's just this, it's comfortable. It's what the problem is, it's what he wanted. He never wanted to be who he is now.
Right.
But as he said, this was my thing. This is what I wanted to touch on. You said he wants to be normal, but he can never be normal. But that was the thing with Kat, that he always said, I will never be normal. I will always be a beast. I will never be human again. So why is it so easy to forget that thought?
And how difficult must it be to be Kat? Again, to be in that position where she's heard all these things come out of his mouth. She's had to deal with all these things, hide all these things, lie, cover up for him, and then to watch him just so easily fall into place with this other girl.
And she talks to her therapist about it, and it makes you, the thing she says to her therapist, that, you know, she doesn't say he's a beast or all these things that's wrong with him, but I feel like every girl can relate to all the things she's saying. It's not. It has nothing to do with the beast. Yes, the beast. It's a huge thing. Muirfield. All this, but it's the fact that
he's being a guy.
He's being a guy. He says all these things to her, and then it's like, for another girl, those don't matter.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because it's, you know, I think even if he chose Kat, which if you watch this episode, it was iffy. Yeah. But even if he had just said, I want to be with Kat, that lingering thought that he truly, truly loved Alex, and he would give it all up for her, but not for Kat, you know, right off the bat.
That's just such a...
How do they move forward?
Right. Well, I mean, they had a little conversation like that, and Kat was pretty much saying when... I guess I'm jumping ahead to the end, and I really didn't want to do that till the end, but yeah, it's really hard because it's such a huge theme as far as... I loved seeing Catherine finally open up and show her emotions, and it's something that, his name is David, had told her, basically, you bury yourself in your work, and you need to start basically living life. And so when she finally takes that step to get shut down, just my heart breaks for her.
But she didn't even give up either, though.
No.
You know,
she kept going.
She said, you can have those things with me, you know, and trying to push that. And she said she's not going to stop fighting, so hopefully she doesn't.
But at the same time, too, as a female putting yourself in that situation, you have to fight for somebody like that. at the end of the day, do you really want to be with somebody that you have to fight for when you're competing against another woman? It's not like she's fighting for him because he's got his emotional issues because he's the beast. That's understandable. But because of another woman, that you're at a point where potentially you're second best and hoping that you'll get picked because of a beast situation.
A
not
faulty
because
thing.
Exactly, not because of a, you know what, I'm really in love with you.
A disqualification on Alex's part.
Boom.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if some of our viewers, maybe you agree, that if this is kind of like an emotional thing. You know, he lost his past. He lost his family. He lost his friends. He lost his fiance. He lost being a doctor. He lost everything.
Right.
It was basically like a death in the family. You know, everything he cared about was officially gone besides JT.
All at once.
Besides JT, everything at once is gone. So emotionally, having that little piece come back, I mean, how can he say no? That's everything he's ever wanted. That's before he met Kat a couple months ago, all he wanted was to be himself and to be Vincent and to be that person that Alex still sees him as.
Right. I'm so glad
maybe
you brought that up, though.
Maybe it's not the girl, maybe it's the life, maybe it's the dream of what he wishes he still had.
Exactly. No, I'm really glad you brought that up because I think us as females watching it together, we're sitting here and obviously we're rooting for Kat and feeling so bad for her, but for a second to take ourselves out of her position and then put ourselves in his position to see what he must be feeling. Now, I don't think he's doing it the smartest way possible, but
well, he's a guy.
Exactly.
No offense.
Yeah, but even when you take your
dirty looks.
Dirty looks. Even when you take yourself out of Vincent's position or Kat's position, I feel for Alex. I mean, she's cared about him her whole life.
Right.
And if she gets rejected, that's even harder. I mean, she hasn't even loved anybody since he died. She hasn't moved on. She basically wallowed for years, for 8 years. Yeah. Wallowing.
Yeah. I love that she walked out right away with the towel and dropped the towel.
God.
How? And she even said it mortifying because obviously he turned her down and was like, look, we need to talk. And that's before he actually let go and was willing to go forth with her. Yeah. How awkward. Because, I mean, he just kept saying, I am not the man I used to be. I'm not the man I used to be. And she's over here like, well, let's just.
But then he said that line where he said, it was hard for me to control myself, too, when you were in that towel. And I was like,
you're like, what is happening? Wait, hold on. I have this angelic perception of you. What's going on?
Right? Well, because there's been no sex in this. Like, none.
Are you kidding? There's not even a...
No kisses, nothing.
Yeah, not even a touch.
We saw him without a shirt off once. One time.
You're going to need to talk to your writers about that. Just kidding.
That needs to happen more.
Yeah.
Shirtless scenes, definitely.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to me because it's a CW show and that's what I'm craving and I just want it to happen.
Paige wants
skin. Not even skin. I don't even need to see skin. Just a peck, a cat, like a Kat and Vincent makeout session, anything.
Yeah. But I think that's what all the viewers want. That's what everybody's been saying. And I actually read something. Jay Ryan had done an interview, and he did say that before the end of the season that we will get our kiss and a little bit more.
This,
so I'm
okay,
wondering
fine.
First of all, I'm wondering what that little bit more is.
Right. But I don't want... Oh, don't. That's gross. Well, I'm just hoping that...
That wasn't me. That gross was not to me.
No. I'm just hoping that... it's before the end of the season. You know, I don't want it to be the last episode to leave us on a cliffhanger before we come back next season. I don't.
And then the end.
No, I want it to happen, like, next week.
Right. I don't know if I see that happening next week.
I don't see it happening, but I want it. I mean, I feel like they've dragged it out way too long.
I think, though, that when it does happen, everybody's going to be like, yes, you know, like, finally. So it's going to be twice as good.
Right.
I don't know. I think I'm just going to be mad that it took so long.
When do you guys think that Tessa's going to figure it out? Because best friends always find stuff out.
I think it's coming soon.
Actually, no. I think she's been very, like, stupid about it. She just, like, doesn't.
Well, no, because she knows something's up, and she keeps on saying to Catherine, like, I know you're going off somewhere, and I know it has to do with a guy.
Yeah, but I don't think she cares enough to. She knows that Kat's always getting involved with guys that aren't good for her. So I think she's just going to let her do it.
I love her character. P.S., by the way.
Yeah.
She's always got the funny things about going somewhere where there's hot men. We're single. We're good looking. Blah, blah, blah. She did that once with a firefighter party. Yeah. She's doing it now again. I love her.
How come she doesn't get any? Well, she's got Joe.
Yeah. Joe. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Well,
he wasn't even here in this episode. I was a little bit sad about that.
No, he's mentioned, though.
That's not the same as seeing someone's face.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever. My bad.
Just saying. So speaking of Tess and Joe and the police department, let's talk about the case a little bit. So we've got this multi-billionaire whose wife and him go skydiving, and then her cord is cut by Lefty. Yeah, by Lefty, and she dies.
I can't even do that with my left hand.
You know, it's relevant but irrelevant. That's just the one thing about forensics that I find extremely fascinating. I wouldn't exactly want to be in that profession, but the fact that you can sit there and, judging from the bacteria on the cord, it was cut about 12 hours ago from somebody who was left-handed, judging by the angle.
I know.
What? Like, that stuff blows my mind.
Me too. Yeah. It's crazy.
That must be super fascinating, even just for the actors alone.
No, it must hurt your head. Like,
trying to memorize all your lines.
So much stuff to know.
And like the dialogue itself is just
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I spoke with on Castle, which is also a murder mystery. We spoke with their, coroner or whatever. Is that what she would be called?
Coroner?
The person in the morgue.
Yeah, from Castle, and her name's Tamla Jones. And she came on and she said the hardest part about playing that position is learning all the medical terms and everything she needs to know. And honestly, sounding like she knows what she's talking about. So this Evan guy, must have to really put in the work, because if you pronounce it even a little bit wrong, I'm sure there's people out there who are like, he does not know what he's talking about.
Right.
He's wrong.
Right. On top of the accent, I don't know if that could mess up with anything. I don't know. We like the accent. We don't care.
I like the accent. I like accents.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
I love them.
All right. So going back to the case with Noah and his wife. That's the names, by the way, if you didn't catch the show.
Noah and his wife. Her name's Lisa.
Yeah, sorry.
Those are their names, by the way. Noah and his wife.
Her name is wife. It's okay. I don't know the name of the lover. What's the lover's?
The CFO.
The CFO.
We named her CFO.
Yes, and how it paralleled. Basically, I mean, we already know that the case is going to parallel somewhat, but it was nice to see, because here you have this woman giving her confession about why she's doing what she's doing. This other woman came along. We were happy. We were in love. Basically identical to everything that Kat is going through right now with Vincent.
Yes.
And as she's telling the story, you see just in Kat's eyes alone, like this almost understanding. Not that it's okay to kill somebody, but I know how you feel. And then for the woman to sit there and say, at first I was so stunned I couldn't do anything until one day they were getting married and it was too late to fight. And to watch Catherine's reaction, and almost like it clicked something inside of her.
Like, you need to fight. You need to fight for him.
And then she went to her therapist.
Yeah.
And then she fought.
Who, by the way, I think is kind of cute. He kind of grew on me.
He's kind of cute, but he's kind of like sketchy a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I feel like he's got ulterior motives or something.
Definitely.
I think it's just because the show, you feel like everybody has an ulterior motive. You know,
true.
Everybody's with Muirfield. Everybody.
Right.
But I don't really think he is. I think maybe it's just the fact that he's a therapist. He's prying. You know. Right. And it makes you feel like he's.
But
intruding.
you guys think that eventually maybe will have a crush on Catherine or be slightly a distraction?
I don't think so.
No.
You know what? I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so too.
I think it might be a little crush, and then Vincent's gonna be
right.
What about me?
I mean, yeah, he was his therapist, and it's his job to talk about her position with the gentleman, and he doesn't deserve you. But just the way he delivered that speech about that lug nut, he basically saying he doesn't know what he's missing out. Well, usually when people tell you that, there's some sort of,
unless it's your mom,
there's an attraction, or your best friend, your best girlfriend. Yeah, it's a little bit of my emotions behind what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a glimpse of what I felt like I saw.
A little bit, I do, but I think if it is, it's very minor. It's very minor. But I was very surprised to see the fact we haven't seen Claire, right? Just relationship-wise. Right. We haven't seen Claire ever, and her and Evan, full force into this thing. I don't know if that's him being over Kat, because last episode we were kind of like, he's still really into her. I think that's going to happen, especially with Alex back. And I think that was a prediction I might have had, was that I thought they were going to
start getting together.
But then this girl walks in, and they start having sex in his office, and it's like, okay, he's over her.
Yeah, well, no, I think she's a fling. I think that
is this his man?
Yes, he's described as a ladies' man, and there's always the guy who's a ladies' man, and there's always the one girl, and I feel like Kat is that one girl where he may know that he's not going to get it right away, but he'll have to work for it, and sometimes men just enjoy that challenge.
Yeah, but you sleep with people along the way?
Come on, he's a dude. Sorry, no offense to the men, but I'm just saying.
You have your short game, you have your long game.
Okay, there we go. Input from the male.
Well, this is why
Paige has a boyfriend and she's in a
relationship. And we're single.
Okay, thank you.
That's why you got to catch them while they're young and innocent, people. I don't mean cradle rob. That's not what I mean. That's not what I'm promoting here, okay, people? I just mean Find a good one and stick with them.
Get them before they know what they're missing.
Yes, exactly. Be the only one.
We are in LA.
Yeah. Apparently, Paige was the only smart one at this table to do so.
Hey, just got a free trip to Vegas, people.
Hey!
I'm kidding. Love you. Bye. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Speaking of promoting, though, be sure you guys check us out on iTunes. Download us, comment, rate us. We're going for 5 stars this time, guys. So definitely rate us. We love hearing what you guys have to say, taking in your input. Always appreciated.
It is. You guys have helpful hints that we don't always know about Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Because it's kind of a...
I mean, we do our best to read up on it and stuff like that before the show, but sometimes our beasties, they get a hold of some information that we don't.
Yes.
Which I will talk about later, actually.
Yes, don't tell us. Don't tell us yet.
Sorry.
So, anyways, so her heart's broken.
Yes. Very sad about that. What else did I want to talk about in here? A little bit about... Oh, let's continue with... I would say just finishing up the case really, really quick. Obviously, she admits to everything.
She does. She never says I killed her, but she's like, I had to fix it. I had to get him back. He's so hard-headed. Hard-headed. He's in love with her.
Right.
He's married to her. He's not hard-headed.
I feel like, though, with the case, I don't feel like it was anything that was a mystery. I feel like it was an open book. You already knew that it was going to be her just from the first scene. I don't think they really disguised too much that it was going to be her. And then the scene at the party with Tess talking to her right away, you're like, okay, this lady just gave herself away.
She was the only person that they questioned other than the husband, and the only reason they questioned him was because he was there.
Right. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, that's fine for me watching the show because I'm not so much into the procedural part of the show. I think it's great. It adds an element to it. But at the same time, I'm there to see the love story. So I think I'm okay with the direction they went because I feel like in the beginning of the series, it was more the procedural and more of the case stuff. And we were going, where's the love?
Yeah.
You know?
But I think they had to do that. That's how Kat and Vincent bonded. That's who they were. They were partners in crime or partners in solving crimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We haven't seen him get involved with the crime too much, which was why I was a little bit thrown off when Evan came out of nowhere and was like, oh, we have this body. We think that the Beast is responsible for him. Well, we haven't even heard of Vincent going out and doing any of his
Well, it's
little
an
night
old
runs.
one. I mean, it's an old guy.
True.
It's the guy who attacked Kat from Muirfield, I think. Wasn't he from Muirfield?
I don't recall.
The one who tried to strangle her, remember in that back alley, and then
Yeah, he
Vincent
was.
came and, like, killed him.
That was a long time ago.
Like, first couple episodes.
So Evan just had him on ice this whole time?
No, he was buried in the ground.
Oh, that's where they got
They
him from.
exhumed his body
Yeah.
out of the ground.
That's where they got.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's so not up on this.
Obsessed much, Evan? I mean...
Yeah, so they took his body out of the ground and took DNA off of him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because I do that every day.
Well, they do.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it. It's part of the job. But just, I think Evan's going a little bit too far with this.
He's just obsessed.
Yes.
And I get, for the sake of science and being a person in medicine, it's like a person who's trying to cure cancer. I mean, they think they're on the trail of something.
But what
He's not going to give up.
Okay, but here's the thing. What exactly are you going to achieve by finding him? Because, yeah, at first you made it seem like to JT that you were going to find a cure. But really, I don't know if that's necessarily your ulterior motive. I think you want to dissect it, and I think you want to take it apart and learn about it. But really, where's the benefit?
But that's what scientists do.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Is he classified as a scientist?
I think when you're in medicine, you're kind of a scientist of sorts. I mean, to be a doctor, which he was, or we think he was, or even to do what he does, I'm sure he has to be a doctor.
Right.
Probably had to go to some med school, which is mostly science. I mean, that is science. The way the body works is science. The way DNA works, that's science. I mean, I think technically, if he's not a scientist, he's got a scientific brain. You know, there's some people who are built for it. No thanks. But I think he is, and just like JT's constantly trying to find cures, this is him trying to find out what this is. What is this? Because it's been plaguing his office for a while.
Right. So then what do you guys think about, because we're talking about science, we're talking about medicine, let's talk a little bit about how Alex was stealing drugs. And then it turns out it was for a good cause. At first, I'm thinking, okay, finally we got some dirt on this chick. She's not exactly what Vincent thinks she is. And come to find out, she's stealing medicine to go for this free clinic. She's a saint.
She is a saint, but she's still stealing. I
But
mean,
for a good cause.
start a fundraiser. You know, like bake sales, things like that.
I mean, 50 cents a cookie, are you really going to get enough to get the medication?
I know, but
you
I
need to
just feel
solve?
like this is the reason. I don't actually have that many opinions on healthcare. Well, I do, but I don't want to.
Another show.
I don't want to get into them. But I think, she's saying these people can't afford healthcare. Well, stealing from the people who can, is just going to make prices go up, which is going to make the problem bigger. You know,
true.
And she could lose her license, to practice. She could lose her job, and then she can't do anything for anybody.
Right.
You know, I get it. I think she's a great person. She's helping people who really need it. I just feel like, you know.
Yeah. Well, Anik, what do you think about the situation?
Well, actually, I don't mind her actually stealing the stuff and like taking it to the clinic, you know, because people need it. It's not like, I mean, coming from me, it's something that I would need. You know,
Right.
but at the same time, yes, I get the whole stealing, it's bad and stuff like that.
Would
but
you
she's
buy a
helping
liver off the
people.
black market? I mean, it's the same thing.
I mean, if it works and you don't have any
Exactly.
money and you're just desperate to save your loved ones, sometimes you
guess.
do certain things.
I know. I don't know.
And it was nice to
I'm
see.
a stickler for the rules. I'm afraid of authority. So
I say,
You
but
see, I like breaking them.
there you go. We got two
We
teams
balance
going
each
on
other
here,
out.
right?
I mean, that was such a little piece. Like, at first, I complained to you guys. I was like, why are they even doing this? You know, I'd rather just see a normal relationship where we just hate her for being her. You know,
Right.
not hate her, but, you know, we're mad because she's
stepping
taking
in on
Vincent away.
territory. Yeah.
But then they throw this whole, she's a thief thing in there. Oh, wait, she's not a thief. She's a saint. It's like, just let her be. She was great the way she was.
But I think that was their way of segueing into allowing us to see Vincent into his old life. Because, again, she pulls him back into his old life and allows him to practice medicine. And we saw that once before at the very beginning of the season. There was a little girl that was sick in a basement that was... they were foreign. Exactly. Yeah. And for that second, it's like you see this sparkle in his eye. And this time around, we got to see the same thing. I love seeing him interact with the little boy. You get to see a very tender side of him.
I almost feel like that might be why they did it.
Exactly.
Just to get Vincent back in his doctor mode.
I think they were just giving different situations of his life. Again, giving us a peek of who he used to be in little instances. Because we've never seen a romantic side. We've seen the dark romantic side of Vincent, but not the cheery, happy side. And we saw him tumble to the ground with Alex. Well, right before the police came. But, you know.
It's hard to watch, though. Because you're kind of rooting for them to get back together because it's just such an epic love story a little bit, you know.
Okay, at the beginning of the show, I don't think he realizes how many times he slaps Kat in the face, unrealizing it, but the fact that they're talking about something, he's like, well, I mean, she's like, you know, you've known her for years, you've only known me for a few months, and he says, well, we've been planning the wedding for 6 years, but planning our lives together our entire lives since we were children.
Ouch.
Like, ow, do
Yeah,
you not realize how
playing it down so hard.
Yeah.
It was so not nice, and I don't even think it registered to him that he was saying those things.
I feel like this episode really allowed me to see Vincent be a man, if that makes sense, and not in the kind of I'm a man, but I mean like he's a man. We're so busy looking at him as a superhero, even though he's a beast, that to see him be human, if you will, in that aspect is kind of like, oh,
right.
It needs to happen. But at the same time, I know I was a little disappointed because I'm like, what are you doing?
But when she told him off, I was like, go, Kat. Way to go, girl, because you don't deserve what he's giving you.
No.
You don't. And I was getting mad for her. And for her to stand up for herself, I was like, that's right. You tell him exactly why you're mad. Because I think that's a problem with a lot of girls these days. They're afraid to say how they're feeling because they might push him away and he might not like her anymore or whatever. Kat's just like, I'm telling you right now. But, I mean, she still didn't go.
I totally agree with you. Like, seriously, ladies, tell it straight up. Don't just ignore us and, like, not talk to us forever. Just tell us straight up.
Right.
Get it together, dudes. Get it together.
Yeah, if you just say
respect your
it.
ladies. Gosh,
Yeah, but
darn it.
ladies, respect yourself.
Very
you know?
true.
Exactly.
Don't just take what they give you. Give back. I mean, give your opinion and your thoughts, because if she was just letting Vincent test his feelings and see if he loves her, see if he loves Alex, she would just be sitting there waiting around having her heart trampled on.
Well, she'd be in the same situation as a CFO.
Exactly, and then she'd kill somebody.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she'd go that far. But you know what I mean? That she would be in the same situation. She's busy being too nice about it, not knowing what to do, being so
afraid.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we're getting to know Kat a little bit more. The shield is coming down, her feelings are coming out, and yeah, she pointed out a few things that honestly I didn't even notice because I was so busy maybe watching everything, not looking at the history of it, but the fact that she's covered up for him so many times. She's done so much for him. So for him to take all that for granted and not even realize and just kind of toss it to the side for just, it's not just some girl, but you know what I mean?
Well, it's not just some girl. And she says, it's not just me. It's me. It's JT. We put ourselves out there for you every single day. And you just wanted to throw it all away to go fake ice skating with Alex. You know, the one line that stood out to me is she said, you know, you miss your past life. You miss your old life. But you can't forget about the life you have now. Right. You know, we're your life. We're the people who protect you every day and are there fighting for you.
Right.
You know, what's Alex going to do when Muirfield comes?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know what's happening.
And what is she gonna do when she finds out he's the Beast? Like,
Right.
Is she gonna freak and run? You
She
know,
clean-
Kat
well,
knows.
I don't think she will. I think
don't
she
think
would
so.
still genuinely love him.
Of course.
But, you know, it's just that, you know, things have changed. It is a new life. He
Right.
needs to decide what's worth.
Well, he keeps saying that, but he's just not getting the balls enough to go for it and say the rest of it. He just keeps saying that I've changed, I'm a different person. Well, explain to her, you know, because obviously she doesn't understand. You need to expand on that, which obviously we'll save it for predictions, but I know or think that's where he's about to go with that, but it's just taking him too long to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's strange.
But I think that Kat put it in a very perfectly when she's like, you're being reckless, because that's exactly what it is. Just plain old reckless, not thinking.
Yeah, and Alex is making him that way.
Yeah.
But back then, it was okay to be reckless. I mean, everybody tells you, live spontaneously, live your life, have fun. And I think that's what Alex brings out of him. And then when she tells him that she loves him and she's going to fight for him, and he just says, I'm not so clear on my decision. I
was mortified.
Like a blow in the face.
how do you
Yeah.
look at her in the eyes and say that?
No, and it was so nonchalant. It wasn't even like I feel bad for saying it. It was like
No, I think you could see
you
pain.
know,
I could see a little pain.
bare,
in his
I mean,
eyes.
I feel like the pain was on the inside, definitely, just because of knowing the character. I just feel like he hit it very well.
Yeah, he's like, she's willing to run away with me. Are you?
And
Like,
how are
how
you
can
gonna
you
give
say
someone
that?
Yeah.
Ah,
But to me, that's just almost like a comparison. Well, it is a comparison. That's exactly what it is. I don't want to be compared to somebody else. What will I give for you? How about what have I given to you in this entire past? That's one thing, running away for a blissful, happy. She's not giving anything up.
Yeah.
It's something that she's wanted to do, to go
Even
overseas
without
and
him.
volunteer as a doctor. She's not giving anything up in retrospect.
No.
And if you ask Catherine to give up her life, well, she's giving up her career that she's worked so many years to establish herself as.
her friends, her family,
Everything.
and even JT. If he walks away, like that leaves JT
And
just
how could you do that to him?
high and dry. I mean, he gave up years of his
Yeah.
life for him, and then you're just gonna say bye. I'm gonna run off with Alex now.
Yeah. But I think in Vincent's eyes, that's the part. I think that he's just very naive about the situation. He doesn't realize how he's affecting other people. And I feel like him walking away from the situation is allowing JT to have a normal life. Because, hey, you know what? You don't have to hide out because of me. You don't have to do all this stuff because of me. You can just go live your life. I'm helping you out. Not thinking about the fact that, hey, by the way, we're best buds. I'm going to miss you.
Yes. See ya.
I wouldn't be doing all this for you if I didn't love you and care about you.
Yeah, I think it's a hard situation. The whole thing's, you know, you want the best for everybody. You kind of want Alex to get Vincent. You kind of want Vincent to get Alex, but you want Kat to get Vincent and Vincent to have Kat, and it's just like,
I want Alex to go find Evan so they can go be with each other and distract each other, and then, you know, Kat and Vince can go do their thing.
what a thought.
That's what I'm talking about.
So funny. Thank you. So funny.
But you know what? I think we've covered this episode pretty good. I really want to get into your guys' opinions as far as predictions and what you guys think is going to happen.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I want to start with you, Anik.
My predictions is I think that hopefully he's gonna realize that it's Kat he wants to be with and not Alex, and she's just gonna go. Because I'm kind of hoping she just goes.
She just can't walk away, though. I mean, she can't just disappear.
Right.
But
I could always make her disappear.
she can make her
Uh-oh.
disappear. The writers can make her disappear. She can walk right off a cliff. I don't really have any serious predictions. I obviously do foresee Vince and Kat ending up together. I don't think the show can go on without that.
Right.
Right.
Outside of that, I just see, obviously, Muirfield is going to come back into play next week. And I said that I think last week that I thought
Right.
it was coming. It had to
Right.
come back.
Right.
It can't be that dormant for that long. So I think this will be a good time. It's just it's a dead giveaway that Vincent's somewhere nearby when JT's working with Evan.
Yeah.
And so I think JT might find himself in a bit of the crossfire.
Okay, so for my predictions, I'm a little confused as far as, because some of the things I read about the next episode as far as Kat, well, maybe she does, she pushes now I'm calling you by your first name. Now so she pushes Vincent away so that he does explore that side
Yeah.
with Alex. But really what he's going to do when they're in this secluded place is maybe reveal his secret to her or something like that. I feel like that's where that's going. As far as what's going to happen after he reveals the secret, I don't know how they're going to make her disappear. I think they might play out a little bit of romance. Something's going to happen, and like you said, he'll go back to Catherine. And I think I said it earlier in today's show, and maybe I didn't because we were all talking at the same time. But as far as something I had read, they are gonna kiss and a little bit more.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not really a prediction. That's just that I read it and I'm really hoping for it. I'm wondering what the a little bit more is. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be intimate with each other, but I don't know.
Well, we all know they're gonna kiss. I mean, we know because of the show.
Right. So news and gossip, you guys, real quick before we get off the air. I guess that's on me now.
Yeah.
Okay, so news and gossip, it's actually more so, it's an interview that I had read that Kristen had given, and she was talking about the fact that in the future, Vincent is going to be killing somebody, trying to save Heather, her sister, and it's somebody that's close to everybody, so he's going to realize it's the biggest mistake of his life, and it's totally going to change the direction of the show.
But he's saving Heather.
He is, but at the same time, I'm like, who is that? I mean, it can't be JT. I don't think it's Tess or Joe.
Their dad?
Maybe. I don't know, but close to everybody in the cast. So it's somebody that we're familiar with.
So it would have to be like Tess or Joe.
Cliffhanger. But she does say, grab your Kleenex. So I'm okay, so it's somebody that we're going to be sad about.
Okay, well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Do you have any more news and gossip?
No, that's my news and gossip.
Little news and gossip, if you didn't know. Already, AfterBuzz has merchandise that you can purchase. So this is big news, people. You can now rock an AfterBuzz TV shirt if you want to. You can have a very nice mug if you want to for your coffee when you're watching our podcast the next morning if you don't want to stay up this late. And if you have a small child, you can make them a billboard for us and buy them a onesie.
Nice. Wait, you can make them a billboard?
Yeah, like a baby billboard, you know. Put our AfterBuzz TV logo on their chest.
Okay.
Make them a baby billboard. Okay, maybe that went over some people's
heads. A little bit. Okay, cool.
But you should check it out. Great stuff.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. As always, we enjoy talking about Beauty and the Beast for you guys. Why don't you leave everybody your Twitter handle so they can follow you?
I'm at Just Anik.
And I am on Twitter at Paige Sullivan.
And again, I'm Alikona Bradford, and I'm at Kiss My Passport. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.